Hi everyone, my name is Michael from Hartland College. Today our speaker is going to be Giancarlo di Miranda. He's going to be speaking on relationships part 2. I hope this is going to be a blessing.
Hey everyone. So let's continue with our study about how to have a successful courtship. But we saw yesterday through the story found in Genesis chapter 1, 2, and 4 that God outlined there some steps for man to take in order for him to have a successful life. And what are they? Do you remember the very first step? Yes, a relationship with God. And what was the second? Okay, preparation for life calling and having a life calling. And then third?
Choosing a life companion.
Yes, choose a life companion. And then finally, having children. And of course, there can be, circumstances there. Like for instance, Paul talks about the gift of singleness. It might be the case of some. Some, they choose not to have children because they want to dedicate themselves to the ministry fully, or they just can't have for any reason. But these are the 4 main steps that we should take. And I want to propose to you that the very first one is the foundation for all the other decisions. Okay, so once you make a decision for Christ and you have a relationship with Christ, and I believe He will guide you to the next steps, like to a life calling, to help you understand your purpose in life. There is a quote, I can't now quote word by word, but in essence says that just as much God has a place for us in heaven, He has a place for us here on earth. And so as we strengthen our relationship with Christ, He will guide us to the place where He wants us to serve and what He wants us to do. And of course, He will guide us to find a life companion and to make the decision to have or not have children. Okay, so keep that in mind. That is the very first step, and it's the most important one. It is the foundation for the whole house that you want to build. Okay, so here we have the 4 decisions that we talked about yesterday. Let's move on here. Yesterday we saw, quickly what we found in Genesis, a summary from the principles found in the first marriage, like the relationship of Adam with God. He had a life calling. He was happy as a single person. He was satisfied as a single person. God gave him an occupation before He gave him a wife. And Adam was busy working on his life calling before he found a life companion. And God needed to awaken the need for a life companion in his case. Adam was not involved in the choice. That means that he trusted in God. Only when a man is ready to leave his father and mother will he be able to contemplate marriage. In other words, he needs to be able to support a family, not depend on the parents. And also you have all kinds of challenges that a couple can find if they decided to live with their parents. So the counsel is very clear there that once you make a decision for marriage, you have to be prepared to move outside of your parents' home. Okay? Then finally they had children. Now let's do a self-analysis just for your own reflection. And I will make this PowerPoint available to you in case you want to review these things in the future. But these are some of the questions that we should ask. Does Christ come first in my life? Okay, so we don't need to ponder too much at this point, but I just want to give you a reference of some of the questions that we should reflect, okay, to take the next steps in life. Have I obtained my life calling preparation? Am I emotionally, spiritually, and financially stable to provide for the needs of my spouse and or family? Okay, and I must say that the financial part lays mostly upon men. So do I have enough domestic abilities to run a home? Okay, and that, is for both, for men and women. But at the same time, usually women have more responsibility in the home because man has the responsibility to bring the finances and to support the family. But both should have domestic abilities, like if a pipe breaks, or if you have to change, the bulbs or things like that, okay? So it's important to have domestic abilities. Okay, let's continue here. So I want to give you some idea of the stages of a relationship. And I want to say this, I want to make it very clear, okay? It's not a recipe for every case. Is that clear? What I'm going to highlight here is not a recipe for every case. I understand that circumstances may be different and you may apply some of the things we are going to see here differently, but I'm trying to give you something that you can visualize that approaches an ideal situation. Okay, so we're dealing with a more ideal situation here, and you will have a good idea. You will be able to visualize what would be a healthy steps for a relationship. Okay, first is what we call casual friendship. Okay, usually 6 months to 1 year. Not even a regular friendship. It's a casual friendship. We rub shoulders with people in different places, and in the cafeteria, in the classroom, and in the church, other places, at work. We rub shoulders with people, and we develop a casual, relationship with both genders, with males and females, okay? So it doesn't mean that, I'm not referring this casual friendship here. It's not only developed with somebody of the opposite sex. We develop casual friendships with people that are around us, that we rub shoulders day after day, okay? And this casual friendship, you're not really targeting anyone, you're just naturally, it comes to happen, this kind of relationships, okay? Casual relationships. So let me read this quote to you. The youth trust altogether too much to impulse. They should not give themselves away too easily. So when you have a casual friendship, you're not revealing your feelings, okay? So it can happen in a casual relationship that you see that the person is a very interesting person and is attractive to your perspective, and then you cannot trust in your impulse and already have in your mind, this is the person, okay? Or anyhow, you start revealing your feelings and your affections, so that's not the time yet. So you want to allow a casual relationship to take place and no commitments at all in your mind, okay? So if you trust in impulse, you are in danger to take the risk that the Lord later on will show you that this is not the person, but you already expose yourself and maybe you awaken feelings in the other person and it will cause unnecessary hurt. So let's continue here. They should not give themselves away too easily, nor be captivated too readily by the winning exterior of the lover. Courtship, as carried on this age, is a scheme of, I want to highlight this, of what? Deception and hypocrisy. And we're going to talk about this. Why is it that courtship in our days is like a scheme of deception and hypocrisy, with which the enemy of souls has far more to do than the Lord? Good common sense is needed here, if anywhere, but the fact is it has little to do in this matter. Okay, so let's talk about deception and hypocrisy. As soon as you start revealing your intentions and your feelings, and then it increases the possibility of the other person acting or basically, trying to impress the other person, and the person is not himself or herself anymore. So that's why it begins, deception and hypocrisy. Because you cannot really know the person if you start revealing your feelings too soon. So it's better just to keep in that casual friendship. And then you can have the opportunity to get to know the person, to observe the person, and you have no commitments, okay? So you can actually come to the conclusion that this person is not the right person, okay? So you have no commitments, before the Lord or anyone, okay? Because you're just getting to know someone. Maybe you felt that that person was interesting, but keep to yourself, your feelings. Okay, so let's continue here. Still talking about casual friendship. It should be like 6 to 1 year. That's a good time for you to know a person better. It is important to know each other as friends first, without feelings or romantic interests involved. When attracted to someone, prayer should be the first priority. So instead of, the first priority is try to win that person, the first priority is keep to yourself and begin prayer and rest in the Lord. Bring to the Lord in prayer, and God will find a way to show you as life progresses. Now let's go to the second step here. A regular friendship. 3 months to 12 months. Okay. So that's the next step. The first one is casual friendship. And then a regular friendship, it's again, you're not targeting anyone. Okay, so let me start a regular friendship with somebody. Regular friendship, it develops natural. As you have a casual friendship with somebody, it can be the same gender, opposite gender. As you develop a casual friendship, you will most likely develop into a regular friendship. And this is another step that you can get to know the person better. And again, you don't only have regular friendships with people that you are interested in. So don't get this idea that just because I have a regular friendship with somebody of the opposite gender, that person is interested in me. No, this is not what I'm saying here, okay? So don't get that false impression. So it says here, to trifle with hearts is a crime of no small magnitude in the sight of a holy God. And yet some will show what? Preference for young ladies and call out their affections. So this person or this kind of people, they're not keeping to themselves their feelings. As soon as they felt attracted, as soon as they saw somebody that was interesting, so they began to pursue and to flirt, okay, and reveal their intentions. Okay, so that person was too quick, was too impulsive, and then go their way and forget all about the words they have spoken and their effect. A new face attracts them, and they repeat the same words, devote to another the same intentions. Okay, so, and we have to guard ourselves from committing this kind of crime as we read here. Okay, so this comes from the Adventist home, page 57. So let's understand more about this regular friendship. Continue to pray and rest in the Lord if you're still interested in that person. Okay? The individual seeks to develop a closer friendship to the person of the opposite sex without revealing feelings. He or she should seek to know her or him in an impartial manner to identify character traits that might prevent a happy marriage. And this is very hard sometimes for young people to do. Once they are attracted to someone, the tendency is to say everything is acceptable. Okay, so but you need to, with God, ask for grace and power and discernment and wisdom to actually get to know the other person during those first two steps of a relationship. What's the very first step again? Your casual relationship, and then finally you go to a regular relationship. And if there is interest in anyone, you should open your eyes, wide open, okay? We often say that after marriage, you close your eyes and you try not to see the defects anymore, you know. So, but before that, you know, it's time for you to use common sense and to really be honest with yourself and just be honest to what you are seeing. Don't pretend you're not seeing things. So, still talking about regular friendship, those who get to know each other in a friendship context that doesn't involve commitment or romantic feelings have a great advantage. And the advantage is this: if you're really not flirting, you know, the other person, the tendency is not to act. And the tendency is you're getting to know the person in a regular context, interacting with other people, with real situations in life, and then that's your advantage. You can really get to know the other person without any kind of pretending. Counseling with more mature and experienced people who know the other person is prudent before initiating the courtship. The courtship will be the next step. After a regular friendship, it comes a courtship. Okay, but before you go to that direction, let's say, you know, it seems that the Lord is leading that way, and then it's very prudent for you to ask for counsel. Now, here is the counsel that I give it to you, okay? Seek counsel from people that know the other person, and not for anyone, you know, somebody that has had some level of experience with that person that you have an interest, okay? And usually somebody that is mature spiritually or in life experience, and that will help you also to make your decision to go to the next step. Let me see if I stop right here. Let me just read this quote. For some reason it's not allowed. A young man who enjoys the society and wins the friendship of a young lady, unbeknown to her parents, does not act as a noble Christian part toward her or toward her parents. So once the decision is made to go to the next step, the family should be involved as well. In a courtship, family should be involved. Okay? So we're going to continue on Thursday. Okay? I'm going to stop right here at this point. So let us, no, I'll just transition to